Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a very special edition of Hot Ones. I am incredibly lucky today that we are out here at Wizards Alley. We are revving up for trivia night, and Wizards Alley and their owner has been some of the best supporters of us and sponsors for this event that we just had to get him on our Afterburners episode. And so today I would like to welcome Mr. Brian Hunter.
What is going on?
You ready for this, sir?
Did you give me 2% milk because I'm fat?
No, that's not at all what happened. I stick with the one that I know that I buy most often.
I won't take offense then.
How are you feeling about this?
We'll see. I've never done this before.
Any concerns? Any fears?
I'm pretty dauntless. We'll see what happens.
So on a scale of 1 to 10 in confidence, how are we feeling?
Confidence is different from them being fearful. So I'll do my best. I'm not sure I'll be able to get all the way through 10 without squealing a little bit, but in general, I'll give it a go.
All right, perfect. So we're going to jump right into it. I have 10 sauces, 10 wings.
Sure.
And we are starting off with a new season of sauces.
Oh boy.
So this first one's called Dawson's Hot Sauce. It's also called Coffee Date.
Oh boy.
And I don't know how to take that. I'm not really a coffee fan.
I don't want coffee in my wings, man. So make sure I don't get my sleeves all saucy. Okay, so what, we just dig into it?
We're going to dig in at the same time. I'm with you step for step.
Okay. When we asking the questions after the wing?
We take a bite, we go through this, we get your reaction. Say whatever you want, respond however you'd like to it.
Okay.
Here we go.
There we go. It's probably going to sink in later. I'm going to be like, ah!
So this one's only 1,900 Scoville units, so...
I don't know what that means.
Typically, like a buffalo, like a mild wing,
Okay.
depending on where you go, can range from about 2.5 to 6.
Okay.
So we're under that. Like, this is really bottom of the scale.
Okay. So I shouldn't get too cocky off that one.
No, we shouldn't be too pumped about one.
Sounds good.
But I start these interviews kind of with the same question for everybody, no matter where I am.
Okay.
Can you tell us what it was like for you growing up in the Wichita area, your life growing up all the way through going to school at Wichita East?
It was wild, man. Mom and Dad were born here. Their folks were here. On my grandparents' side, they immigrated here from Ireland in the Great Bend. And then the other side came up from Oklahoma. Lived in the Plainview area for a while. Grew up in South Wichita. Wound up at East High. Wound up in foster care for a bit through high school. And I got in quite a bit of trouble in high school. I just joined from there got out of town by joining the Army. But I like Wichita. Wichita's home. It's where all my friends were. And, I was a dumb kid quite a bit, which I think a lot of people back then were. So I was lucky there weren't cameras and rings and everything else like that to record some of the dumb behavior that I had back in the day. And I had to go to summer school to graduate because I was not very studious with my classes sometimes, and had some teachers that were on me quite a bit that got me through it and got me out. So I was appreciative of that. And East High is a great school. I live a block from East High now, so I look out my kitchen window and I see East High. And I own a store downtown now that I drive in every day. I drive right past East High, so it's I was rooted here and still here, and I love the city. So,
what do you think? I deal with college students every day.
Okay.
And we're talking what's different, right? We talk all the time. Life is changing for these young men and women.
Okay.
What do you look at from your childhood and go, man, it's just so different now?
So I'm Gen X, which, Generation X, I feel like we like technology. We're not opposed to technology or scared of it, but we still had an analog childhood. We still rode our bikes places. got out through the football around, went out and found shenanigans. My folks didn't know where I was 99.8% of the time, jumping off of roofs of houses across town. I shouldn't have been jumping across roofs of houses out town, exploring places I shouldn't be exploring. And I think now, like, everything's so tethered and controlled, and parents track where their kids are with cell phones. And I also think too, there's a bit of I look at a screen as much as anybody, and I scroll through Facebook or socials, and you've seen the shenanigans I post, but I think now, like, the kids, or young adults nowadays, they seem to be, works a little bit different. They take a little bit of approach to things, and where, back when I was working jobs, it was kind of like shut up and keep digging, and now they approach it differently. And I think society's changed too, and sometimes you just got to realize that, the way that you came up isn't the way other folks come up.
Yeah.
And I think kids are lucky to have technology, but if I can give any piece of advice, it's like learn to touch grass, learn to be out in the real world, learn to make friends that aren't on the internet. I told someone the other day that they spend so much time on the internet and Discord that they need to get out and meet some real folks, because I think you tend to take those interactions as just significant as those in the real world, and they're not.
Yeah.
So, if I could see or give any advice to this generation, go out and meet some real friends.
Yeah.
Your internet friends aren't where it's at. So.
Yep. I'm with you. One down. 10% of the way through, man.
We didn't die.
That's
I remember not to rub my eyes.
Yeah, no, don't. Obviously, rubbing your eyes would be very, very bad.
Okay.
And so I'll tell you, these initial ones jump up quite a bit. So we went from 1900.
Okay.
We're now going to 5500. And this sauce is called Crema Matcha.
Okay.
That doesn't sound delicious?
I took a little taste. It's got a little bite to it. I might need this milk handy. We'll see what happens.
That's why it's there for you, man.
All
Bottoms
right.
up. Here we go.
Save some for later in my beard.
Beard buddies, man. We got this.
That can be taken differently in some circles.
Reaction
That's
to that?
actually kind of good.
Yeah, it's not too bad. So this is my 9th video.
Okay.
Out of the 9, these are probably the 2 best starts that I've had yet. Like, those taste pretty good.
That actually had, like, it was spicy, but it wasn't enough that I didn't enjoy the wing.
Correct.
That's probably going to change quickly.
So you kind of already mentioned it about after high school, the Army kicked in.
Yep.
Was that always kind of the direction for you, or was that something that when it came up and it was just a feasible option?
My grandpa really wanted me to join the Army. When I was a kid, I did get in some trouble, and my folks were a different animal altogether. My dad and my mom had some big issues, and I wound up staying in either foster homes or with my grandparents. And my granddad had a farm. And I learned to work pretty hard out there, and I'd go out there in the summers and I'd bust my butt. And I was working a couple jobs as a kid just because, no one else was going to take care of me if I didn't do it myself. But my grandpa always wanted me to join the Army. He was a Korean War vet, and he always talked about what it did for him. And this is kind of silly, but when I was a kid, I liked G.I. Joe, man. And for some reason, I always wanted to do 3 things really. I wanted to draw comic books, I wanted to be a cop, and I wanted to be a soldier. And so talking me into joining the Army wasn't a hard sell.
Yeah.
I pretty much started looking into that probably my junior year of high school, my sophomore year of high school. I was kicking around the idea and talking to recruiters and getting interested, and that's how I got there. So it was. I also thought too, like, I grew up in Wichita. A lot of my family and the roots were here. And I wanted to get out and do some stuff outside of town to see what it was like and see if Wichita was where I wanted to be or if I wanted to be somewhere else. And figured they were going to feed me 3 meals a day, give me a place to stay. And that was the way. So.
How long were you in the Army?
I was 4 years active duty,
Okay.
and then I was 4 years in the reserves.
Okay.
And I wouldn't trade it for the world. I think the Army's a big part of the reason I'm the man I am today.
Yeah.
And it taught me so much about myself, pushing limits. You know, it taught me a lot about discipline and what I was capable of.
So within that, I'm hoping I looked this up right. Were you an emergency medical tech?
I was a medical specialist, which was what the official title was. When I
Yeah.
went in, it used to be 91 Bravo, and then it changed somewhere along the lines to 68 Whiskey. I don't know what it is now. But yeah, I was an EMT. I went through the combat medic school, and they put you through EMT school back then, and you could actually take the national registry.
Yeah.
And I took it and passed, and wound up. I really liked it. You know, I thought it was pretty cool. I wound up in the 1st Infantry Division, which is the big red one. You know,
Right.
1st in Normandy, and I liked what I did. I think being a medic was pretty cool. And I actually kicked around the idea when I got out of the Army of being a paramedic or being a medic around here, and I changed my mind. It was just, so working on soldiers and doing cool stuff in the Army was
Yeah.
a lot different than I think what normal society's like, and it just didn't interest me after a point. So
I get that. Yeah, it's just always fascinating because the way
Yeah.
I met you, this is like getting to hear about you. Like, I was like, I can't wait to do this interview
Yeah.
because this is not. I'm getting to see the different side of you than I've
Yeah.
known for you.
I've lived quite a few lives, so it's
Oh, and we're gonna dig into that.
that's awesome.
All right. we're on 3.
Hopefully law enforcement's not watching. So. Okay.
All right. So this is 3. This is pickled garlic sriracha.
Oh boy. What's the Schofield on this? Or Scoville, whatever.
This is
Schofield's a car
we went
dealership.
from 5,500,
Okay.
18,000.
Oh boy. All right, this is how you get into Valhalla. So. That doesn't taste bad. I'm gonna give it a few seconds.
I just don't like pickled flavor things.
Oh man.
And then pickled garlic and then sriracha. Like those are 3 flavors.
You
that
ever
I'm
get Korean food?
I'm hit or miss.
Oh man, Korean barbecue and kimchi and all the pickled stuff. That's some of my favorite stuff. This is actually pretty good.
All right, we're 3 for 3 with you. That's really good. I'm glad about that.
I'm gonna finish this wing.
I think it's hysterical that you brought up that you're like, man, I hope, police or whatever aren't paying attention.
I'm joking.
Well, no, I laugh about that because literally when I asked your wife about things about in your life,
Yeah.
she was like, yeah, no, he's been in the DEA. And I was like, excuse me?
Yeah.
And then when I started even looking more up, I was like, you've done the police. Like, weren't you a police chief?
I was.
Like, how do you go from kind of Army and that stuff? And like you said, you wanted to be a police officer. Like, you hit 2.
Yeah.
How did this all come about?
What do you mean, like to where I'm at now?
No, with the police officer. Like, how did that come in?
So, I got out of the Army, and this is kind of funny. Let's tickle in the back of my throat a little bit. But I got out of the Army, and I was going to school because the Army gave me college money.
Right.
And I was thinking, well, what do I want to do while I'm going to school? And I worked at AutoZone a little bit. I used to be a gearhead. I worked on cars all the time. I love hot rods. She still has to listen to me. I need to stay off Facebook Marketplace because I keep seeing these old cars and I'm like, oh. But I love old cars. And so I worked at AutoZone for a while. And I did a few other things, just trying to, get through school and figure out what I was going to do. And my sister, of all people, was like, I'm applying to work at the sheriff's department. Do you want to go with me? And I was like, man, that doesn't sound horrible, and I always wanted to be a cop. So I went and applied at the sheriff's department with her, and wound up they hired me and they didn't hire her. She couldn't pass the physical agility and the dummy drag, and I could, and that's kind of where I just got started. And really, I wouldn't say I don't know. I don't think I set out to be a career cop,
Yeah.
but it just happened along the way because I tried to get out a couple times. And there might be some nuggets in there that you don't have. We'll see if you got it by the end of this. But
I'm gonna probably tell you I don't have
okay,
them.
well, it's good. There's some interesting stuff. I might drop it on you later. So
Yeah, no, it was really fascinating when she brought that up because it was, again, it's part of that. I don't think people expect that.
yeah.
But we're hitting 4.
All right, man. This is my supper. So
This is I think you could have probably chosen better.
Oh, I don't want that leg. I thought I got the flat.
I got.
Gee, oh,
They're
man.
both.
You did me dirty.
Hey, look, man. I just took the wings that I was given.
Okay.
I was about to say, I'm thinking that there's a Bamberger in my future after this.
Okay. What's skinny on this sauce?
This is called Passiflora.
Okay.
We went from 18,000 to 28,000.
Okay.
So we didn't triple like the last one did, but we did add another 10K.
All right.
And again, this looks kind of sickly. This doesn't look like a chicken wing sauce.
Yeah. Tastes like Thanksgiving.
That Thanksgiving tastes better than that.
It's like a turkey wing.
Passion fruit smoked onion, Honduran cane sugar,
Okay.
and Scotch bonnet peppers.
So you can tell it's a little spicier. It's not horrible though.
But now that we're on question 4,
Okay.
I do believe I audibly gasped when I heard that you owned a dojo at one point in your life.
I did.
Again, I feel like we're making I feel like people are going to hear this and it's going to feel like this almost feels like we're creating a character in Dungeons and Dragons at this point and just picking things we think sound cool.
My sister thinks I need to write a book someday. So.
So, what was the martial art of choice in this?
Yes. So I rewind to my grandpa. My grandpa was he was a martial artist in the 50s and 60s. And when I was growing up with, him, he showed me a lot of stuff and taught me a lot of things, and I just really liked it. And referring back to G.I. Joe, there was a character called Snake Eyes.
Yeah.
Who was a soldier and a ninja. And if I could get my hands on a ninja movie in the 80s, I was watching it. And I still watch cheesy kung fu and ninja movies. And luckily, my wife's a good sport. And, but I just like it. And at first it was more because young man ego. I thought it would make me this this super cool bad to the bone guy. And but then when I was in law enforcement, I stuck with training because I felt like it was, a survival thing to be able to handle yourself or take care or protect others. And I was training pretty regularly, and a couple friends and we opened a small school and just kind of stuck with it. And I had a school, from the early 2000s all the way up until 2019 when I closed the school down. But I studied American karate, Kempo karate. I've done some Filipino martial arts in like Eskrima or Kali. I've done jiu-jitsu. I was a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. I had a guru ranking and a couple styles of Filipino martial arts. And I've got 3 black belts in different styles of karate. And
Wow.
I don't know. I just like learning too. And a buddy of mine that I trained with, he said one of the cool things about me in the martial arts is like I'm just a perpetual student. I just like to continue to learn, new things, and sometimes I like choking my buddies, I guess. But I made a lot of friends along that path along the way, and I really think that too. Martial arts are great because you're pushing your limits, you're pushing who you are, and sometimes you don't know what you're capable of until you actually do the thing. And I think your buddies push you and your buddies help you get better. And I have a group of friends we haven't trained in a long time, but we all form those bonds on the mat. You know,
Yeah.
we all form those bonds, you know, in the dojo, in the training. And you know, and I taught my oldest daughter. My oldest daughter wound up being one of the first women's MMA champions in Kansas, and she won a bunch of belts and titles in jiu-jitsu competitions. You know, so I passed on to her, and you know, hopefully when her daughter and my grandson are old enough someday, you know, I'll be able to teach them too.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a legacy because it started with my grandpa, it went to me, went to my children, and hopefully it goes to their children. So, you know, it's something you can pass on that's not wealth.
Right.
You know, so.
I'm with your sister. You should write a book.
Yes.
You know, I think that's some of this is the fun part for me is when I get to research this.
Yeah.
I get to ask questions and I get to see what isn't necessarily what's presented every day.
Yeah.
And it really does get fascinating. And when those add up, especially, I mean, at this point we're 4 questions in and we've hit like 4 career choices here.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's another wing. Oh, but we're at 5. Think about this, man. You're halfway. We're 50% there.
We're living on a prayer.
And we didn't double.
Okay.
But we did add 20,000.
Okay. I don't know what that means, but cool.
This is chimichurri habanero.
Okay.
48,000 Scoville units.
My nose is clearing out, so that's good.
Yeah, no, there's some benefits here.
Yeah. Okay.
Fresh air is going to smell a little different when this is over. Oh, there's some habanero there.
I tasted it.
I mean, that's immediate.
That's not bad, though.
We need to talk about what you think is not bad. That doesn't even taste good. And yet, I'm the one who does this video every time.
I'm going to eat this wing because I'm hungry.
So yeah, adding to your litany of interests.
Okay.
We've gone through some career choices here.
We have.
But you are also an artist.
Yes.
I know you've done pen and ink drawings. I know you do digital media. You do pencil work. But yeah, no, on your Bamjitsu art page, it says you also work in self-proclaimed pain.
Oh, dude. I remember now. I think you have to have pain to create, man.
Yeah.
Like you have to have experienced something to, I think, create something that means something.
Yeah.
And like pain is a good motivator. Pain's a good teacher. And, you know, call back to one of the first questions you asked me about the kids today versus, you know, other generations. You know, it's okay to suffer. It's okay to experience a little bit of pain. It's okay to have a little bit of a hard time. It's okay to get knocked on your butt. It's okay to fail a test. You know, like pain is a great teacher. And out of like pain and falling on my butt, I've built some of the coolest stuff ever. And like in art too, I think to be a good artist, like you have to have experienced a certain amount of pain. You know, the best poets probably had girls that they were madly in love with that dumped them on their butt, you know, and I think that's why I put that on there at one point in time, just joking around. I didn't realize it was going to get taken seriously in a video 10 years down the road, but here we are. So.
Well, and I'm not necessarily I call myself an artist. I do my own stuff, and I can think of all the times that I stepped back from a piece of paper, a painting, and just paced in front of it and yelled at myself. Like I'm yelling at nobody. So like the pain of this isn't what I wanted it to be, but we're gonna get there.
I think it needs a T.
Oh, yeah, might need tea for paint. Yeah. No, but I've also done some writing. I sculpt. For a while I was writing for 360 Wichita. And I just kind of did that just to see if I could do it. You know, they were looking for writers and asked for writing samples, and I sent it to them. They hired me, and actually that led me to here, which I'll explain down the road. There's a pathway to how I wound up down here. But you know, I don't know, man. I think if you should try out all the things, man. Try all the things. They're out there. Live life.
Yeah.
Don't go just get a 9-to-5 and then do that until you're old and dead. Like go experience some stuff, man.
Was the creative side of you always, like even as a kid, like it seems like everything's kind of run with you for the lifetime.
One of the littlest pictures I have of me is my mom bought me a drawing desk, and I was 2, 3 years old, just constantly drawing on that drawing disc. I got in trouble in school because I was supposed to be doing my math and I'm drawing, and I also got in trouble for drawing pictures of teachers and, everything else. It was just how I expressed myself.
Right.
And I've just always been that way. Really never really made a living at it or made money on it until the last few years. So
Cool.
So
No, I'm with you on the creative side.
Yeah.
I think nothing against anybody else, but I think there's always a good story with a creative individual.
Well, like now, I taught myself digital work the last few years. And now I'm working for a gaming company. I'm doing art for their dice sets and giveaways and promos and enamel pins. And it's all Dungeons and Dragons related stuff. So super fun and dope to draw. And I made a whole bunch of buddies doing comic book work, and I talk to those guys every day now. So like when I get done here, I go home sometimes at night and I work on my comic book stuff or I work on my art stuff. And I need it. If I don't have it, it's a form of expression for me.
Yeah.
So
Cool. Well, we're on the back half.
we are.
We're starting.
We're on number 6.
And look, there's a flat in here for you.
Yay!
And this is this flavor. Like I said, we're 6, which is we're jumping to 69,000 Scoville units. We're still in 5 digits.
I still don't know what that means, but whatever.
And we're at this is called Tropical Amarillo.
Okay.
Which makes sense because it's yellow.
Okay.
Take that as you will.
Here's to you, Josh.
You say that now. You're handling spice better than I expected you to.
That's not bad.
See, I feel like we're going to do what a lot of people do is we're going to get to like the last 3 and you're going to be like, this was the worst idea ever.
I don't know. I'm okay so far.
I know. And
This is actually legitimately good.
that's why it's starting to concern me slightly because I know what we're getting into. But as I introduced at the beginning,
Maybe the hack is going into this hungry.
well, so as I introduced in the beginning of this video, being the owner of Wizards Alley, to again, your increasingly fascinating career choices.
Well, thank you.
One, how did you get into this business?
Okay.
And then 2, this is not an easy business to succeed in.
It's not.
And so I would like you to be able to talk about some of the tribulations first,
Okay.
because I'd like you to be able to finish this question with talking about the triumphs that you've had.
This goes back, honestly, though, we need to rewind back to childhood again. From the time that I saw comic books at the grocery store, which back then used to be able to go, there'd be comic book racks at the grocery store or the store. I was in love with comic books. I was in love with comic book art. I would go home and I would draw the things I saw in the comics, and I just fell in love with it. And then when I got wheels and I had a bike and I realized I could push a mower and get money from people or rake leaves or go fix stuff, I was taking that money and riding my bikes to the comic book stores and buying comic books. And, that's just what I did. I loved it. It was the medium that I loved, and I loved to read. And my mom, I remember her telling me that, like, she gave me a comic book when I was really little, and she thinks if it wasn't for comics, I wouldn't have been a good reader, which I can absolutely see. And so I fell in love with the medium when I was young, bled into art. But when I was in the Army, I was still collecting, and then I was actually getting, like, big boy money. So I was able to go to like comic book stores and buy stuff I actually wanted.
Yeah.
And I wasn't in there with like my lawnmower money trying to parse what I could parse for whatever. And, and I just felt like I could buy good comics. And so I was hitting the comic book stores. And this shop used to be a shop called Agents of Comics. Mm-hmm. And it was out on Central and West. They had a location in Derby. And they had a location out at 21st and Woodlawn for a minute. And I wandered into the one on the west side of town, and I met a guy named Frank Keith, Frank Keith now, he's a professional artist full-time, but Frank was one of the owners. And him and I made really good friends. And he used to rotate guys through on Sundays because he needed a day off. So there was a crew of 3 to 4 guys that would work Sundays. And so we got to be really good friends, and he was let me work the rotational Sundays. So I was some Sundays, if I was coming to Wichita all the time because I was at Fort Riley, but I was working some Sundays at the comic book store in the 90s and all the way up through the 2000s. I was part-time at the comics. I was a police officer. If I had Sundays off, I would work them at the comic book store because I just loved it. And so I'd been with the store through that legacy for a long time. It got sold off. A guy that bought it basically fired everybody that was working for it. It changed hands with another owner. And then when that owner put it up for sale, a friend of mine bought it and brought me in with him. And he wound up getting out. I brought in another partner. So I've been involved with this store in one way or another since 1994.
I was 3.
And yeah, I was a grown man, but I have loved this store, you know, in one way or another since 1994. And you know, the thing is too is like doing a small business is not for the faint of heart. It's not for the weak. You know, you're going to go to bed some nights stressed out, not knowing where things are going to come from or how you're going to make it happen. And you just have to make it happen. And, you know, the store was south for a while and it was not doing great. And on the leap of faith and a little bit of prayer, you know, I talked my partner into coming down here, which the relationship that I developed from working at 360 Wichita, the guy owned some real estate. He works with real estate, and this was his building. And so I hit him up about moving downtown pre-COVID. COVID happened, so that didn't happen. And then when things started to get rolling again and my lease was coming due, I talked to him, and he told me about this spot, and that's when we moved down here. And, you know, I work 6, sometimes 7 days a week. But, you know, I don't know if I love what I do, you know, and like I get to bring my wife with me, you know, and you know, when we go travel places, I visit comic book stores, I visit game stores, and I just love this stuff. And, you know, and sometimes there's a saying, it's cheesy, but I like it. It's like, you know, I'd rather be a warrior in the garden than a gardener in the war. And I want to live out my days as the warrior in the garden now, and just chill out and read comic books, play games with my buddies.
Yeah.
And like, so in keeping this going too, though, like I struggled when I retired from police work with, I wouldn't say my identity was wrapped up in being a police officer, but like my sense of like purpose and what I did for others was really tied to it. You know, I liked helping people. One of the big reasons I wanted to be a police officer was because I wanted to be the type of person that would have been there for me as a kid that I needed. You know, that like I wanted to be the kind of guy that would have helped someone that was in the situations that I was in. And being a police officer, I got to really do that. I got to be a DARE officer. I got to be an SRO. You know, I got to do a lot of fun and cool things. Some of the kids that I met being an SRO, you know, they're still in my life. They're on my Facebook. They still contact me. They text me. They call me. You know, and I still talk to some of those teachers that I met along the way. And, you know, so I had this whole, like, I'm helping people. I want to help people. I want to be there for people. That, like, retiring as a police officer just went away.
Yeah.
And at some point in time, it kind of sunk in that, like, man, I'm giving sanctuary to people now. Like, you know, you look around you tonight, there's a whole bunch of people in here that, like, this is their third place. They're either at work or home or up here rolling dice, you know, and like all the comic book guys that come in, I know and talk to them and we talk comics. And like, so now I'm kind of cool because like I've also passed some stuff on to the next couple generations of guys and they think this stuff is cool. They love this stuff. And to be able to have a place that we built that all those people can come together under one roof and do the thing is kind of now my purpose. And so like, long answer your question, but like now that this is my purpose, I'm going to keep it. I'm too stubborn to stop it.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to let it fail, you know, and it will go on. And I hope that someday I can pass this on to somebody who will care about it as much as I do.
Yeah.
You know, and one thing my landlord, when we were talking about this at one point in time, someone had questions about the other side of this being open and if we could handle it and if it was going to be too much. And he's like, Bam's not going to let it fail. And that's kind of like, I was like, man, that dude's got that kind of faith in me.
Yeah.
I need to probably have that kind of faith in myself too sometimes. And we're doing it. We're doing the thing, you know, and It's a lot of moving pieces,
Yeah.
but I like to play games. So,
I'm glad you say that because that's what
oh boy.
we're gonna kind of start jumping into that.
All right, what are we on now?
But this is 7.
Okay.
It's actually it's called POG, POG squared.
Okay.
And just to really, hit the kicker here, welcome to 6 digits of heat,
Okay.
110,000.
Oh boy, that sounds big.
And if you sit here and go, this tastes good, we're taking you to a doctor with taste buds. Listen, I know I'm sitting here eating all this. That doesn't mean I like everything. Like, you're just like, yeah, I mean, you're devouring your wings.
I've eaten most of my chicken. I think, there's some meat on that. All right.
All right, here we go.
It's spicy.
Yeah, seeing your reaction now, I think I should have just put 10 on every single wing and just said it was something different and just watched you because you're inhuman right now. Yeah, no, this isn't.
It's not bad.
No, because I'm feeling it. And
Okay.
I'm the host of this. I shouldn't.
You're sweating, dude.
I know.
Why are you sweating?
It's a new sauce. I wasn't prepared for it.
No.
I'm
I'm just raw dogging life over here, man.
I got introduced to Dungeons and Dragons a couple years ago.
Okay.
And I went, oh jeez, I went down the deep end. I mean,
Okay.
I'm certified dice goblin now, but I also loved the minifigures and collecting all of that.
Okay.
But I can remember as a kid, even coming close to somebody that liked this or hearing about it and being like, this is nerdy, man. Like, I was an athlete. I played a bunch of sports. I like comic books and I like superheroes, but it was like, that's too far. Like, that's over the edge for me.
Okay.
But now that I'm older and I'm having these conversations with people and trying to get them to understand it, I play that with I get my wife involved in it. I'm trying to get family members involved in it. What are like some of these conversations that you have with people to advocate for like tabletop gaming?
Dude, so when I was growing up, you didn't tell people you liked D&D. You know, if anyone wants to fall down a Google rabbit hole, like I grew up during the Satanic Panic.
Yeah.
Which, if you play D&D, you're going to end up worshiping Satan and, killing your neighbors. and at the time also, my folks went to a Baptist church, so there was very strict things. But, I liked it really got me into the reading. There's actual math involved. And if you want to enjoy math, I think sometimes tabletop gaming is a good way to enjoy math. Now I'm getting a little bit of spice from the air.
Now
it's got an afterbite.
Yes.
It's good though. But also too, so there's a lot of things I think tabletop gaming advocates for. Back to the generational thing, we've joked, and you saw the trend of like the Gen Z stare, and a lot of people, we go to places and I joke with her because we'll get bad customer service. I'll be like, oh, they're nonverbal here, and people just stare at you. And I'm like, I'm not built that way. Right. I've never met a stranger. I will go a place, she'll leave me alone, and I come back with a best friend in 5 minutes. And, one day we went on a trip, and I went out. I have cigars. I don't recommend it, but I have a cigar here and there. And I wound up going outside to have a cigar on a bench, and I wound up with an old man friend on a trip that we had. We talked for 45 minutes. Guy I'd never met before. But tabletop gaming is great for that. And tabletop gaming is also, too, you think about it, it's a healthy way for two people to get together, spend time, and regardless of your feelings about drinking, you don't have to drink. You don't have to have some weird social event where everybody has to dress up for. You can just go to the table and roll dice. That guy right over there, him and I have known each other 25 plus years. He was a football player at Friends, but him and I met on the tabletop. And, we've been in each other's weddings, helped each other move, been through, breakups, families, everything. But I met that dude at the tabletop. And Also, it's problem solving, and sometimes like if you want a safe environment to learn some problem solving, tabletop gaming is perfect. You also learn to communicate. Like there's a whole set of like Warhammer. I'm a big Warhammer player.
Yeah.
And to play competitive Warhammer, like you have to know a lot of etiquette. And like there's table etiquette, and you have to be able to tell the other person and communicate and advocate for yourself. And like I've seen a lot of these young men come in. We've had kids that come in, they're 10, 11, 12. Their dad brings them in, they're playing, and now they're teenagers. And I see these kids communicating, talking to other adults, interacting with other adults, and like they've learned it, they've picked it up, and they're doing cool stuff. So I could not advocate. I couldn't recommend more. If you're a parent and you're trying to get your kid out of their shell, set them up in a gaming group. Play board games. Pick up the D&D starter set and play it on the kids' table some night. And you have to learn to talk to other people and problem solve. And it's just such a cool thing. And I've seen it. It's done so much for my life. Because secondary to even all that is the escapism. Because I've had times in my life with my job or what I do that I don't want to be in reality for a little while. Let me go over here and play with dwarves and orcs and, magic armor and wizards. And I get away from the world for a minute. And that's probably the coolest thing about this for me. So,
Yeah, young man on campus just said, I asked him what he wanted to do by the time he graduated. And he goes, man, I want to run a D&D campaign. And I told him, I said, look, you tell me when I need to be there. I've never played. It sounds interesting. Now, granted, I was older at that point, so I'm open to it.
yeah.
But I was hooked day one. Like just the idea of let's build a character. Let's create a backstory. How would they behave in this?
Yeah.
And the idea of, we started playing in that campaign and there was direct conflict between me and another player, not personally.
Right.
Just our characters were learning how to interact with one another. And I fell in love with it for just that creative itch that it like hit every bar for me as a creative individual. But the storytelling of it, like, yeah, sure, it's not just, I shoot an arrow. Like I think it creates some of that like creative juices in everybody of like learn to tell a story.
There's an art to it. It's also a form of expression. So
we're on 8.
Okay.
This is the one that if you ever see clips of the show, this is the one where you see all those reactions.
Okay, so don't get fully stupid on this one is what you're telling me.
Correct.
Okay. All right. I'm doing okay so far.
Feel free. I'm going to ask you to tell me what it tastes like. I will tell you some.
My eyes are running a little bit now. So.
I was about to say I can see the perspiration's happening a little bit, but I will tell you the people have described this as a mouthful of nickels.
Oh boy!
Eating battery acid.
What's that? I might. I'm trying not to break the seal. He's already been all over that Pepsi.
My favorite thing about this is if everybody was paying attention, this is usually like when I have my students with me, that everybody's got their phones up and I'm describing how bad this is, and you just see the whole room. They're like, yeah, this is going to be awful.
Okay.
Here we go, man.
Here we go.
Like I said, don't get stupid.
Okay. It's pretty spicy.
It's gonna linger.
It is lingering. Like a bad date. The copper stuff I do get.
Yeah, it's metallic-y. I've got. Do you just want to drink out of the bottle? You want me to get the bottle out and?
It's not. I don't know if I'll eat this whole wing, but it's not horrible.
Yeah, I have 2 older brothers who would go ahead and disagree with you.
Okay.
I also have a lot of students that would disagree with you.
What's the rules on? I might actually take a drink after that one. What's the rules on drinks?
Do what you want, man. I want you to be as comfortable. I mean, we're doing dumb stuff, so I want you to be as close to comfy as possible. Okay. I've mentioned your wife. You've mentioned your wife.
Yeah.
She is a staple in the store.
She is.
I can't tell you how many times I walk into this store and she sees me and she's just, hey, Josh, like always got a smile on her face. She doesn't help me regulate my spending.
She's not supposed to.
She's a very big advocate of, oh, which ones dice are you looking at? Oh, why don't you just get both?
Yeah.
So yeah, no, she's not great for my pocketbook. But you've known each other for a very long time.
We have.
She has, like, you've already talked about, you get to do this stuff with your wife. What has her support meant to you over all these years?
She is awesome, and I outkicked my coverage because she's pretty and kind. And I'm not even looking, but she's bright red right now. But if I could go back and give young me advice or any young person advice, the person you pick to travel with you or to be on the journey with you is going to either make your success or break your success. And the biggest thing that's great for me is she believes in me. And having someone that believes in you unconditionally can make you, move mountains. And having her support, having her belief in me, because I've told her stuff before. I can tell she's scared to death. And in her being scared to death, she's like, I know you'll make it work, but I don't see how. And there's a lot of stuff I've told her that, like, I'm going to make this work, and she doesn't get where I'm going, but she's along for the ride, and we get there. So, but I really, 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 you got to pick the right person or hope the right person picks you, because it'll make or break you. And I see a lot of people that are unsuccessful because they got somebody holding them back, or someone that's a dredge, or someone that's an anchor. And, I'm not saying don't be rooted in reality, but you got to believe in that person a little bit, and you got to give them a little chance to show you what they can do, and don't pull down everything. Let them run a little bit. And that's what she does for me. She lets me show her what I'm capable of. And in showing her what I'm capable of, it helps her believe in other things that I'm doing. And she's one in a million, man. She's a unicorn. So, and I'm so grateful for that.
You are correct. She is also bright red.
Yeah, she is. So,
but I think that's what I've noticed, and when asking people about these questions, I
honestly think some of my friends like her more than they like me, but whatever.
But isn't that kind of a goal? Like, it's like, hey, look, if your friends like her more than you, like, look, it's all good there.
Yep. All right, that made my eye water a little bit.
All right, we're on the last two.
Oh boy.
I didn't tell you the last Scoville unit.
Oh boy.
The last one, that was the bomb one.
Okay.
And that was 135,600.
I don't know what that means, but cool.
This one is Funkin,
Okay.
Funkin, not Funkin Yellow.
Okay.
And its Scoville unit is 670,000.
Sure.
We went from 135,000 to 670,000.
Oh. All right. This is number 9, right?
This is 9.
Nibble? But we're supposed to take bites.
You don't have to eat the whole thing.
What size? Oh, show me what size bite you took.
I mean, I take out just.
Okay.
I don't overdo it. So to some degree, after the bomb, what happens is sometimes your taste buds are dead, so these are easier,
Okay.
but not always. I've never had that one, so it's probably going to kick in later as we keep talking.
I think you're sweating. You're sweating.
Oh, I always sweat. No, I don't get to avoid that. I always sweat.
I feel like the last one was worse than that one.
I think the last one, the metallic-y, like it just doesn't taste like doesn't taste good.
Okay.
But I end up doing the last two usually pretty good because my taste buds are gone.
Cool.
The problem is I haven't tried these last two. These last two are new.
Okay. I'm
But question
after number
number
10,
9.
I'm getting in the milk.
Question number 9, and this is where trivia night at Newman University comes in.
Okay.
3 years ago, I walk into your store down south.
Okay.
And I said, hey, I introduced myself. I'm like, I'm Joshua. I work at Newman University. We're doing a pop culture trivia night. Can I bring this flyer to you?
Okay.
Without missing a beat. Like, it wasn't, yeah, sure, here we go. Like, your first words to me were, do you need a sponsor? Like, without missing a beat.
Okay.
And that's always had a hold on me, because not everybody reacts that way. Like, that's not necessarily that's not everybody's first moment of thought. So what causes you to have a stranger who's never been in your store ask if they can have a flyer where your thought is, how can I help you out?
Yeah. Well, I mean, so I've been a broke kid. And, I also know, too, that going to school's pretty stressful. And, like, just figuring out that you were doing the student activities and that, it's trivia night, that maybe if a kid walked home with a board game out of the trivia night, might be a source of joy. They didn't have to pay $50 for a board game. And in my mind, I just think and my thing too is like, I like to make money. I like to run a good business, but I do have joy in like helping others and getting stuff to people. Like we do a Star Wars trivia night with a guy that does a Star Wars podcast that benefits the Kansas Humane Society.
Oh, yeah.
And the convention that we ran, it was tabletop convention at Century 2, benefits homeless veterans in Wichita. And I think that, I've been pretty lucky to have the things that I have. I'm pretty lucky to be where I'm at in life. And like a kid going to a college thing is probably looking for something to do. And if I can help them have a little bit more joy in their life trying to get through the thing when, I've seen some kids that are barely getting by just trying to get to that finish line. Yeah. It's all those things flash through my head pretty fast. And it's an easy decision that like, I can help with this. I can make this easier for it to go off and, maybe it'll be more successful the next time he tries to do it. And then sometimes you just gotta have a little faith in people, and I think one thing that I struggled with, in law enforcement sometimes was cynicism. And one of the ways I've gotten over my cynicism of folks and people is to be generous.
Yeah.
And have faith in people that you normally wouldn't have faith in or you might not have faith in, and letting them see what they bring with it.
Yeah.
And most folks honestly are good folks. Most folks will surprise you.
Yeah.
And it's, and you and I wound up having a friendship out of that. So there's a lot of things that have paid dividends, and so I do that for any college. Not that Newman's not,
Right.
great doing this, but if someone from WSU walked in, I'd sponsor that, or whatever, just because I've been there. And I don't think anybody gets where they're at alone. No matter how tough somebody thinks they are, no matter how, Billy Bad Butt, I'm trying to watch my language, but, no matter how bad butt they are, someone's helped them along the path.
Yeah.
And I've been through some stuff that, would probably have me labeled as a tough guy or whatever. I didn't get there alone. I had people drag me a long way sometimes. I had people pulling me up off the ground. I've had people tell me to suck it up and keep moving. And I think things like that help people just keep moving. So that's a long-winded answer, but that's my answer.
And now that I have the moment to like put this on camera, I wanted to put this towards the end. I'm never going to be able to thank you enough for the stuff that you've done for us. I'm only one guy that's not made of millions upon millions of dollars.
Yeah.
But the fact that you were willing to do that, and I didn't know how to handle it.
Yeah.
Because that wasn't the reaction I was getting everywhere. And usually it was like, hey, could somebody help out? But because I walked in and you did that for me, it's made it easier for me to go up to anybody after and just say, hey, can you help me? You want to help sponsor this?
Right.
And then at the same time, like people ask me, like, so what is Wizards Alley? And I get to talk about that.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
good.
I'm a nerd. I'm a comic book person, and my students have got. I've had some students be able to come in, and
I've met some of your students.
you've met some of my
It's
students.
been pretty cool.
My favorite thing is when they were like, "Yeah, no, we're supposed to hit you." Bam told us to. But there's a group of students that are like, "Man, we want to do stuff at Wizards Alley." It's like, great, and I go, just let you know, they're always doing stuff. So
We got
you have
an Uno
plenty of-
thing coming up.
Yeah,
Pretty soon, so,
and I can't thank you enough for the fact that you were willing to do that the first time, because now I'm having students that want to be able to come here and do stuff here.
Yeah.
And we want to find ways to give back when we can. I do appreciate that you've allowed me to buy D20s over and over again. My wife's not necessarily happy about that, but I do appreciate that. And I just, from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you for being part of that first year.
It's not a problem at all. It's not a problem at all.
But you ready to bring this home?
Let's do it.
This is the brand new sauce
Okay.
in the box. And unfortunately, we're both wings.
Okay.
And this one's going to be really weird because I can't sit here and go, this is how many Scoville units this is.
Oh, you don't know?
This is the Last Dab Thermageddon.
Oh boy.
It is,
Might need to get the milk ready.
you might want to. It is made, it says it's a masterpiece that unites the 4 hottest peppers in the world. Pepper X, Apollo, the Carolina Reaper, and the Scorpion.
How do you know they're telling the truth?
I've got a pretty good hunch. So
Okay.
the last sauce was called the Last Dab Experience. It was 2,693,000 Scoville units.
Okay.
My only assumption is that this one's probably close to 3 million at this point.
Leroy Jenkins.
Leroy Jenkins.
Okay.
Oh, well, that was too big of a bite. I got all the skin everywhere. First time trying this. This one's bad.
Just got a little bite. All right. Showing you my bite.
I got you.
I don't know if I eat the whole wing. Shaking your head, no. Hold on, one more bite. No more bites? Okay.
And so that brings us to question 10.
Okay.
Depending on who you ask, I think this is an easier question. And I think it's going to be an easier question for you because you've answered some of it throughout the time here.
Okay.
And again, I end them all the same way. So, what do you hope people take away from you and your interactions as a human being? But also, what do you hope they take away from their experience here at Wizards Alley?
Wow. From me, I hope that they know that, first of all, I'm a flawed human being. I'm highly flawed, but I try my best. And I think if you approach stuff with a good heart and try your best, it's about all people can ask from you. But I hope people leave interactions with me, feeling like they met a good person with a good heart. And I try to do that all the time, and she sees it. I don't know if you want to tell the honeymoon story.
So we went to Colorado for our honeymoon.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, let me get closer. So we went to Colorado for our honeymoon, and we stopped in Denver at Mile High Comics because that was on the bucket list for BAM. And we spent time wandering all around, and then we needed to get back on the road. But while we're there, we're going to check out. He found a few things that we needed to purchase, and so we get in line, and there's a kid ahead of us, and he's got his comics, and he goes to get all rung through and everything, and he doesn't have enough money. And so we're watching him kind of dig through and look, figure out what he was going to do. And Bam's just like, I got it. And so in Denver, Colorado, Bam bought perfect stranger kid comics because he'd been there, and that's exactly what he said. He's like, I've been that kid, so that's what
And
he did.
and I think on that note too, like, part of the reason, like when I talked about being in law enforcement, like I want to be the type of person that I want to see in others. And like, I try my best. Some days I fall short, but I get up again and I start over. I wish I knew the exact quote verbatim, but there's a Ralph Waldo Emerson quote, about finish each day and be done with it. Some absurdities crept in, but approach each day with a new enthusiasm. And I really try to do that. And I hope that, like that kid in Colorado, I'll never see him again. But I hope that he remembers that some stranger was nice to him, and that he, was in a comic book store wanting some comic books, and some dude that didn't know him helped him get the comic books, get out the door. And when people come to Wizards, I try to learn people's names. I try to make friends. And I have a lot of people that come in here like wanting to buy something. And a lot of times they leave without anything in their hands, but I've made a new friend. And sometimes that's great. I want people to feel at home here. I want people to come up here. You got people all around here all night just sitting around, chilling out, hanging out. And people come up, talk comics, talk stories, talk movies. And I just want a place where everybody walks out of here and like they felt like they were really welcome. They were really at home. So that's long story short.
Man, you crushed it.
You doing all right?
10 is killing me, man. That's a new one. I haven't tried that before, so.
I took 2 bites.
That's insanity. I'm glad. Like, I did not. That was bad. 10 was bad.
My nose is cleared out. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I have that. Bam. It's been a pleasure, sir.
Absolutely.
Thank you for everything that you've done for us on Trivia Night.
You're welcome. Thanks for supper.
February 27th. Doors open at 6. Game starts at 7. Newman University's Pop Culture Trivia Night. Sponsored by Wizards Alley. Peace and chicken grease, y'all.
All right.